This is my labels tutorial for Gmail. Okay, so what are labels? Labels are Gmail's way to label things. And so if you see you'll see here on the left side, these are your labels. And now you can hide these, right? Those are gone. You can hide all of these. Sent, drafts. It's a good way to keep it clean, in my personal opinion. Uh, and then you can click more, and then it'll be there. So they're not going away. You just don't see them at first glance. So with that being said, this is, I think, one of the best ways to organize your Gmail, and that is to only show when you get an email, um, or only show a specific label when it needs to be looked at. So that being said, you have these show if unread. Uh, Spam, show if unread. I always have that on, show if unread, because um, I've almost lost, or I've gotten notified about a job offer and it went to my spam. And I didn't look and it was there. So always have this on. You never know what's going in there. Or you might just always have it. No, you don't want to do that because then you'll forget about it. But if it just pops up when you get something sent there, you'll want to look at it immediately. Um, Snoozed. I don't use snooze too often, but you can do that. Snoozed is if you have an email and you don't want to respond. I believe there's an option to. Um, uh, so when you basically it's when you get an email and instead of opening it, you can snooze it for later. So it's like email or Gmail takes it away and they'll send it back to you at a certain time or a certain date. So I don't want to worry about this right now. Have Google send this to me later tonight, and they will do that, and that's what snoozed is. Show and important. I don't understand the important algorithm, so I just hide it. And if something's important to me, I'll just star it. Or better yet, I'll make my own label that'll say important. Okay, so a lot of this stuff I don't need. So I'm going to hide these, but now I'm going to make my own label. So uh, uh, actually, before I make my own label, I just want to say for these categories, I don't think you need these to show them, because by default, if you have them on, they're shown right here. It's the same thing. So going back to settings, let's go back into labels. So I'm going to make a label, and let's call this trips. Sorry, I can't do that. That's because it's reserved in the system. Okay, so which there's no label for for trips, but Google has that reserved. I think also important is also reserved. Yes, it is. I think starred. There are a couple. There are, yeah. See, so to get around that, you just do like an underscore important, and now you can have that. And I'm gonna make another one. I'm going to make we'll do I'll do trip, right? So now these show up, and now I can go back to settings, and you can have labels here. And now I can do show if unread, and they'll go away, and now I can have them. And basically what happens now is if I get an email, I can send one to myself. We'll do christianweb@gmail. Test. No, we'll do important email. See, I have no signature on the bottom because I haven't set that up. So earlier we had set up send and archive, which I thought was on, but apparently it's not. But also I wanted to touch on the scheduled send. This is new to Gmail, relatively new, and I use it. It's awesome. Say you don't want to send an email at 4 in the morning when you're up, and for no apparent reason, but you don't want to forget about it. So you just do a scheduled send, and you can set the time and date, which is amazing. Oops. So I'm just going to send that to myself. And okay, so this popped up. I see this. Oh, this is an important email. Instead of starring, because I've noticed a lot of stuff gets starred, and then you have an entire inbox and you're just scrolling and scrolling, you have hundreds of starred. So I reserve a label to be my starred, I guess. So I will label it. If you go up here and go to labels, if you check it, click apply, and now you have this label. So, and also to show that it is important, I will change the color. Now it's red. And also you can go onto the left side here and click those three little circles, and basically you can also change the settings here, which are pretty self-explanatory. But now I have this. So what we discussed earlier about archiving, this is where it comes into work. So archiving is not deleting, it's just removing from the inbox. So deleting goes into the trash folder, and things in the trash folder will be 30 days will be automatically deleted. But we don't want this to be deleted. It's important, but we also don't want it taking up space in our inbox. So what we would do is click archive, and now it goes away. What happened to it? Okay, so now we have our own label over here. If you go into the important label, you'll see it. It's right there. So it's not gone. It's just out of the inbox, and that's what archiving is. Now, if you had, now I can send this back to, I can move it back to the inbox. Now say it had no label, and I just archive it. Now where did it go? See, there's no, it's gone, and it's in this weird limbo, or this the ethos, I suppose. It's not deleted, but it's not in your inbox, and it's just somewhere to be found at a later point. So I think it's the only way to do that is if you were to search for it. See, it'll show up in the search, which I don't really recommend, because if it is important, like, it's either archive it into a labeled folder or delete it. Don't archive a piece of email that'll just be taking up your space on your 15 free gigabytes. Just remove it or don't. That's my opinion. And I also don't believe there's a archived label pre-made. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Delete it or add it to a different folder. So if we go back to our settings, go to labels, and you can see, so we've made a couple labels, and it's pretty easy to do. What do we want to do next? So we have these labels. And you can also nest labels. So something I might do is let's do code, and we'll make another label, and we'll nest it under code, and it'll be called JavaScript. And who knows, this might be emails we get or something. So, and now you can organize your folders that way as well. And we can I also want to note that you can make labels here on the left side. So this can be called HTML. We'll nest it under code again. There we go. Also, that can also be done. I'm going to remove that. I don't need that. Yeah, let's just hide it. Okay, so we have that all done. Now would be a good time to touch on, so if we go to labels, go back to labels, I think it's important to do the spam, always show that, just so you know. Drafts, that's a good one to show if unread. So say you have a draft and you want to save it for later, so you don't forget about it. Show it if it's unread, and this will help you adding a bunch of drafts, and you'll see them in, if you have more than one in your draft email, it'll be showing on your left side, and that might not be ideal. So it basically is have a draft or don't, and if it's showing on the left, that means you should do it or finish the email. I'm going to remove these. Remove. And okay, so for trips, it's a good way to organize. Say you're going to Costa Rica and you have your flight and your rental car and your hotel. All those email confirmations, you can put them into your trip or Costa Rica label, and it'll keep it organized. And when it's done, you can delete all the emails and you can delete the label, and that way you don't have to worry about it, and you know exactly where everything is, and it's just better, I think. Anything else I want to touch on here? So you can make labels, schedule drafts. Okay, so I think that's about it for labels. Actually, before we go, I'm gonna make 3 labels, which help with being more efficient. This is something I found a long time ago, and I think it's great. And if you want to do it, hey, more power to you. This is just like a learning thing. So if you can think of something better, by all means, share. I would love it. I love doing these productivity hacks and efficiency. Anything to make me more efficient, I think is great. So I'm gonna make a label called. It's gonna be called um, today. But before that, I'm gonna make a new label called to do. Now let's go back to today. Edit this. I'm gonna put it under to do. Make another one. This week. Nest under to do. Let's make one more. This month. Under to do. Okay. So now we have 3 labels, all under to do. This month, this week, today. And based on importance, let's make this one red. Let's make this one yellow. And we'll do green. Okay, so we have that set up. I'm going to hide this.